Hello guys, and welcome back to another class of our course about the complete introduction to programming with Java. So basically until now we saw many things about Java and basically all the basics of how to program in this amazing programming language. So what I want to do today is pretty simple. I want to put everything together and basically create a Java application, a little bit more advanced Java application that will have basically everything that we just saw in all our previous classes. So basically like a final project. So pretty simple. I really want to start from scratch, really from the beginning, and going step by step for the creation of this project. All right, so basically what exactly is the goal of what I want to create? So right now what I want to do is pretty simple. I want to create an application that will ask the user its password. So basically the user will simply write down its password. Well, we'll create a password, then write down its password to be connected to the application. Once the user is connected to the application, basically this application asks the user if he's hungry. So basically it will ask the user, are you hungry? If the person says yes, well, we are going to ask him, do you want to eat, and offer him a choice of things to eat. And based on the choice, we're going to offer the person if it wants something to drink. And finally, simply telling the person, hey, you have ordered this. To confirm the order, simply enter your password and the person will enter its password again. So basically if the password is wrong, we'll ask the person to re-enter the password. If it's right, well, we are going to continue and tell the person your order is coming. So basically you'll see it's really a simple application, but it takes a lot of work to be able to perform this. So let's go step by step. So basically the first step of creating this app is pretty simple, is really, well, asking our user, hello, welcome to the food app. So basically this would be in food app. And we'll ask our user to create its password. So if we go really from scratch, the first step is pretty simple. It's creating a class inside of our project. So basically to be able to create our project, we need to create a class. So we'll simply go here, click on new and select Java class, because once again we're creating a new class. So here I have created my class, it's called project. So as you can see, public class, and here my class would be project. And then the next step is pretty simple. We need to write down our method. Then the next step is pretty simple. Now what exactly we need to do is simply telling the person, hello, welcome to the food app. So this is exactly what we're going to do. So basically we're going to use something that we use a lot. So simply the print function. So hello, welcome to the food app. So as you can see, this is really the first step, is simply telling the person, hello, welcome to the food app. So when it's done, and the next step is asking the person to create its password. So not that complicated, it's pretty much the same thing. We simply need to write it down. So here we're going to ask the person create a password, because once again, the person, to be able to connect to the food app, will need to have a password. So here we have two things that we can do. So we can, for example, create a password for the person. So basically create ourselves a password and impose this password to the person, or we can ask the person to create a password. So this will require a little bit more of work. So this is exactly what I want to do. All right, there we go. So right now that we did this, what exactly we need to do? So now we need to communicate with our user to be able to allow him to create this password. So basically our user, to be able to create the password, we need to use something. So basically we're going to use the scanner. So this is what we have learned in the course, but before being able to use it, we need to import it at first. So this is exactly what we're going to do. So we are going to import java.util.scanner. There we go. All right, so right now we have everything that we need. Great. So as I said, the next step is pretty simple, is importing our scanner inside of our project. So we're going to import it inside of a variable that will be called scan. So scanner, and as always, we're going to use scan. And here we're going to import a new scanner. Great. Now, what will be the next step? So we need to create basically a variable where we're going to store our password. Once again, I don't want to create an integer variable. I want to use strings because once again, in strings, people can write down numbers, can write down letters. It will all be converted into string, of course. But once again, this is exactly what we need. We need a password. Well, we need our user to be able to use letters as well as numbers to be able to basically create its password. So we're going to write it down. So first thing we write down is our data type, which is a string. Then we need to write down the name of our variable. In this case, it will be pass1. And finally, what exactly we'll do with this variable, we'll simply ask our user to communicate. Well, basically, we're going to use the scan method. So next. There we go. So now what exactly we have wrote? So pretty simple. Right now, if we run the application, what will happen is that we're going to write down, hello, welcome to food app. Please create a password. Then we are going to be able to store the password of our user inside of the variable pass1. So this is exactly what we're going to do. Finally, the next step will be, well, confirming our user that we have basically created its password. So basically, this is exactly what we're going to do. So we'll write a line of code that will confirm our user that, hey, your password is something. So in this case, your password is, and what exactly we're going to use to be able to basically tell our user that its password is pass number 1. Pretty simple. We have learned it a little bit before in this course. It's simply writing down plus and writing down pass1, which is our variable right here. So we're going to use the reference of pass1 to simply write it down right there. So it will be automatically generated. Great. What exactly will be the next step? So the next step is testing our password. So this is exactly what we're going to do right now. Basically, we're going to ask our user to enter its password. So in this case, if the password is wrong, we'll ask our user to try again until the password is right. And this will be able to basically offer a certain layer of security to our application. So the first step is really trying out the password. So this is exactly what we're going to do. So what exactly we need to tell our user? We'll tell him, please enter your password. So here we go. Please enter your password. Great. And now what exactly we need to do to be able to communicate with our user? We need to create another variable, and in this case, well, we can call it pass2 or simply, well, in this case, I'll call it just pass. And this variable will store the answer of our user. So basically, this is what exactly we need to do right now. So we ask something to our user, please enter your password. Now our user will enter something. So in this case, he will enter a string. And then what exactly we will do? So right now that our user have entered something, we need to basically verify if it's the right password. So in the case that it's the right password, well, great, we can allow the user to be able to work with the application. But in the case that it's not the right password, we need to tell our user, okay, please enter the right password, or this is not the right password, please try again. So how exactly we'll do this? So pretty simple. What exactly you guys can use is something that we saw back in the course. So it will be the while loop. So what exactly we need to write down in our while loop? So pretty simple. If the pass is not equal to basically pass number 1, which is the password that the person have written down at first, we will simply tell the person, okay, this is not the right password, please try again. And in the case that it works, I will simply write down, great, it worked, and welcome to, well, or simply ask a question to my user. So let's do it right away. So as I said, first thing is simply write down our while loop. So we'll write down while. Then next step is pretty simple. We need to verify if, well, we need basically to write down a certain sentence if pass number 1 is not equal, well, if pass, which is here, is not equal to pass number 1. So basically this is exactly what we're going to try. So in our case, if pass is not equal, so how exactly I write down not equal? It's pretty simple. I simply write down an exclamation mark right here and write down dot equals, because I'm working with strings right now, to pass 1. So in the case that it's not equal, what exactly I want to do? So I simply want to print something. So in this case, let's print something pretty simple. So we'll just print, this is not the right password, please try again. This is not the right password, please try again. Great. So right now we have our while loop set it up, and once it's done, what I need to do is basically communicate once again with my user, or simply allow my user to try again. And how exactly I will allow my user to try again? Pretty simple. I will simply import the pass variable right here and ask my user to simply try again with the scan function. Here we go. So right now we have everything that we need. So we can close our parentheses. Great. So right now, if everything works pretty fine, what exactly I can generate? So I will simply ask my next question, which will be we'll just write down something pretty simple at first. We'll simply tell the person access granted, and we'll test the first part of our application. Access granted. Great. So let's just summarize this first part of our application. So first part right here, we simply write down what we will say to our user. So we'll say to our user, hello, welcome to the food app, please create a password. The person creates a password. Well, basically after that we import the scanner method, which is right here. We import it inside of the scan variable, and then we reuse it right there to basically be able to use it on the variable pass. So basically we import our scan method, we store it inside of scan. Then we create a variable which is pass1, which is a string. And inside of it, we store, well, basically we use the scan method to be able to ask our user, what is the password that you want to use? Once it's done, we simply tell to the person your password is now, and then we tell the password to the person. Then we simply tell the person, please enter your password. And then we store once again, we use the scan method to store the password that the person have just written inside of the variable pass, which is right there. Now, if it's not the same thing, we're using the while loop. Well, we're using the while loop to verify if the password that the person have entered will work, is the same as the password in pass1 that is used in pass1. How exactly we do it? Pretty simple. We simply wrote it right there. So if pass1, pass, the variable pass, which is right here, is not equal, by using the exclamation sign dot equals, to pass1, which is right here. So what exactly I want to generate? I want to generate, this is not the right password, please try again. And once again, allowing my user to try again by simply using my pass variable right here and using the scan method right there. So basically I will allow the user to change the pass variable again, and again until it works. And finally, when it works, I simply write down access granted. So this is the first part of our app. So let's test it to see if it works. So we'll just run it. Whoop. Wrong thing. So I'll just run it right here. So here I want to run project. So here we go. We got it. Hello, welcome to the food app. So right now, let's just rerun it again to be sure it's running fine. All right, so hello, welcome to the food app. Please create a password. So let's say our password will be 123. Now your password is now 123. Please enter your password. So let's say we enter 2. So this is not the right password. Please try again. Let's say we enter 5. So it's not working. And if we enter 123, access granted, application done. So this is really the first part of our app, which is simply creating a password to be able to allow our user to basically connect to the application. So that's it for this class, guys, and see you all in our next class.